Hey, and welcome to another episode of Rankum. It's going to be a great topic today. We've got non-musician biopics, and I've got a great panel here. Here for the first time, you may have seen her on Call to Action, but it's Kelsey. Kelsey, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to debate some movies with you guys today.
And also here for his first time is Kirk Kolowski. Kirk, how's it going?
Hey, it's going really good, Malcolm. Thanks for having me today. This is my first foray into the Take 3 universe, so it's a great topic, good panel. I think it's going to be a good show.
And also back is Alex. Alex, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty spectacular, ready to kick everyone's asses and talk some movies. Let's do this.
And also, you may not recognise him because he's not wearing black, but we do have the Chance Allison here. Chance, how are you feeling?
He is wearing black.
I own a wardrobe of other colors, so this is actually new. So, yeah, this is a really cool topic, and I'm excited to be here.
But yeah, how the show works is we each go around the board, nominate a movie that we want to talk about, and then everyone else on the panel says yes or no to it. We'll make our master list, and then at the end of the show, we rank them in the order that we want. But I'm going to go to Kelsey first. Kelsey, what's the first movie you're going to bring up?
All right. The first one I'm going to bring up is Catch Me If You Can, about Frank Abagnale, the master con artist that stole tons of money and tricked a lot of people for a very long amount of time before he was caught. Leonardo DiCaprio is fantastic in it. Tom Hanks is fantastic in it. And it is my favorite biopic. So I definitely wanted to nominate that one.
Are we starting at the top or the bottom? Doesn't matter.
It doesn't. Yeah,
we're not really doing a number system yet.
Not yet, no.
Okay.
But yeah. I'll go first on this. It's an easy yes for me for Catch Me If You Can. I really love this movie. But yeah, Chance, what do you say about Catch Me If You Can?
This is actually it's a tough one. I do like Catch Me If You Can a lot. And you know what? It's early up in the show, and I like the movie, and not the point where I'll give it a yes. For once in life, DiCaprio gets a yes from me.
And with that, Catch Me If You Can does make the list. Alex, what would you have said?
I really enjoy this movie. It's a fun time. Spielberg, Hanks, Leo. I mean, that's a pretty winning trio right there. But I'm not gonna lie, it's not my favorite of any of its Spielberg movies. It's probably in the top 10 of Spielberg movies, but it's not my personal favorite. But I mean, it's definitely in the lottery in terms of like just really good biopics. It's just my personal favorite, so it's a no for me.
And Kirk, what would you have said about Catch Me If You Can?
Yeah, I think this one would have been a no for me too. It's not a bad movie, but I'm not as big a fan of it as a lot of people are. And I just have a list here of I think what I personally think a lot better about biopics to represent the genre. So this early on, I probably would have given that one a thumbs down.
But with that, Kirk, I'll go to you next. What's the first movie you're going to nominate?
Okay, my first movie isn't something that typically gets lumped in as a kind of like Catch Me As You Can. A lot of people don't necessarily think of it as a biopic, but it definitely is one. It's based on the movie Wise Guys. It tells the story of the life and times of Hank Hill. It is Goodfellas. To me, this is just one of the best movies overall ever made, but it's a great story of a person's life, his childhood, his growing up in the world he grows up in, and his rise and fall in the crime community. So I just think it's a fantastic movie, great story, great performances, great script, great directing, great soundtrack, great everything. So I definitely think this deserves to be in the top 12 at least.
Alex, what do you say about Goodfellas?
I mean, nothing more to be said. I mean, it's a classic. I mean, Scorsese. Can't beat it. It's definitely one of my favorite Scorsese movies, and I honestly, God, I totally forgot it is a biopic. So that's a delightful surprise. So I vote yes.
Chance, what do you say about Goodfellas?
This is actually it's an easy one for me. This is a yes. Like Kirk said, it's not one that I like. When you say biopic, it's not one that first me comes to your mind. And in fact, I think there is another more promised Scorsese biopic that I hope makes this list as well as this. But Goodfellas is a fantastic film. It's one of my all-time favorites. So Yeah, it gets the yes from me.
And with that, Goodfellas makes the list. Kelsey, what would you have said?
Sadly, I would have had to say no, strictly because I have not seen Goodfellas. So yeah, it's on my watch list. It's moving up higher in my watch list now.
But I would have been a yes for me for Goodfellas. I do love this movie, and I actually saw it for the first time a few weeks ago. So, but yeah. And with that, we go to Alex. Alex, what's the first movie you're going to bring up?
I would have to say my first suggestion would have to be The Founder. Okay, The Founder was it's a really great movie. I really enjoy this movie. It's an indie movie that came out a few years ago, based on a true story, or about the creation of McDonald's as a corporation, and it's fantastic. I mean, I can't remember the main guy's name. What's his name?
Ray Kroc.
Thank you. Yeah, but who's the actor that plays him? Batman?
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael Keaton. He plays wonderful. He's like this really wonderful gray character of someone that's not only ambitious but really great as a businessman, but also very conniving at the same time. At the same time, you oddly cheer for him throughout the entire movie, knowing how hard he works and his ethic and everything behind it, and how it became this arguably the very first global empire in terms of fast food and food in general. So it's a really great story that I personally didn't know before, and this movie really brought to life in a really cool way.
Chance, what do you say about The Founder?
So true story. My first job was actually at a McDonald's. So this movie is actually one that kind of hits a little closer to home for me. I watched it. I enjoy The Founder. I think it's a very underrated film, but it's really easy, really breezy, and also it's not really. I think there are biopics that are more memorable out there, especially ones that come out in this past decade. So I gotta give The Founder a no.
I also used to work at McDonald's back in the day, and this is something I really enjoyed because I never knew sort of the story behind sort of how McDonald's came about, and just to see that Ray Kroc literally stole the business from the McDonald's brothers, and just I really love The Founder, and I'm going to give it an easy yes for me. Kelsey, what do you say about The Founder?
I loved The Founder. I've watched it a couple times. It's actually was on my list as well. Michael Keaton is just intoxicating to watch. He is so good at being likable and also really not the greatest person at the same time. And yeah, no, hard yes for me.
Slytherin in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Slytherin.
And Kirk, The Founder does make the list. What would you have said?
I'm so excited that Alex brought this up. This was on my list. I love this movie. I think Michael Keaton gives a great performance. And like she said, the movie's structured in a way that you root for him because he's the protagonist and you're on his side. But by the end, you feel really dirty about it, and you're kind of like implicit in everything he did. And just our country and our culture is almost implicit in what he did. So yeah, this movie's real nuanced. I really enjoy it. So yeah, definitely yes for me.
But Chance, what's your first movie going to bring up?
So many I could go with, and I think we just had a Scorsese film, but I'm gonna get the other one out of the way right now because my first nomination is gonna go to Raging Bull. Raging Bull takes you through the life of boxer Jake LaMotta, played excellently by Robert De Niro. I feel like this is maybe De Niro at his most committed. Maybe like something like Cape Fear, but because like you look at the transformation he went through, just like slimming down, getting into boxing shape. Which, fun fact, dude got in such great shape he actually won a few amateur fights, and then just taking a break to eat his way through Paris to play the model later in his life. Like he just played. You look at like where he started, where he ends up. You're just like, well, he's playing like two completely different guys. And I also think it shows you what I think a good biopic should do is show you inside of a person. Like it makes you understand like why LaMotta was the way that he was and why he was so dominant as a fighter. And it's like everything about his life that made him the person he was. So Yeah, I think Raging Bull should definitely be top 12.
But yeah, this is going to come as not a surprise to anyone, but I've not seen Raging Bull.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Malcolm.
This was on my list to watch for this. I just didn't get to it in time. But Kelsey, what do you say about Raging Bull?
I know I have seen Raging Bull. It has been a very long time. I do remember it was a really well done movie, and I just remember that I liked it a lot. So I will give it a yes, but I don't remember it that well.
Oh, thank you.
Kirk, what do you say about Raging Bull?
Yeah, Raging Bull. It just missed my top 12 just because there are movies I wanted to talk about more. But I knew it would get brought up, but I knew I'd vote yes on it because it definitely deserves to be on the list.
And Raging Bull does make the list. Alex, what do you say?
No.
Or what have you said?
No. I think this movie's pretentious. I really don't like it. And I actually saw this movie yesterday. The first time I saw it was like in high school, and I remember loving the movie. But I saw this movie yesterday just for this recording, and I like what it does. I think you're right. The actor's portrayals, Jay LaMotta, I mean, he's fantastic. Obviously, it's great. I just did enjoy it. I understand it's supposed to be challenging to you as the viewer, and I definitely appreciate that. But I watched this and I'm like, I'm just annoyed the entire time. It was a struggle bus for me to get through.
Yeah. But yeah, it's down to me for my first one. And my first one I'm going to bring up is one that I'll be surprised if anyone else has seen it, but it's going to be The World's Fastest Indian, starring Anthony Hopkins as New Zealander Burton Munro. This is one of my favorite movies that's sort of based on a Kiwi icon, because he set the land speed record way back in the day. I mean, it's been a while since I have seen it, so I'm messing it up in my head anyway. But like, it's got a whole lot of great supporting cast from New Zealand actors and all that. And it's just one that is good. And if you haven't seen it, you really should try and find the greatest shot because it is actually really good. Kelsey, have you seen The World's Fastest Indian?
I have not seen it. I have heard of it. I have heard it's really great. I have not seen it, so therefore I have to say no, just because I don't know.
Kirk, have you seen The World's Fastest Indian?
I have not seen it, but based on your recommendation, I'm adding it to my watch list right now.
Alex?
I think it's fine. I've seen it. I haven't seen it in a long time. And I really enjoy it. Anthony Hopkins, him being himself, him in anything I really enjoy. But I feel like overall this is more of a meh movie, personally.
That's fair. Everyone's got their own opinions. But yeah. Chance, what about you?
Yeah, I have not seen this film. Not sure I trust a recommendation from you, but I'll check it out anyways.
No one ever does anyway, but Kelsey, it's back to you for your next nomination.
All right. The next one I'm going to nominate is, I've read the book first. I love the book, so I watched the movie. It is 127 Hours. James Franco stars as Aaron Ralston, who got stuck in the Canyonlands when a boulder fell on him. And it's a really great performance of James Franco being by himself the whole entire movie, acting against himself because that's all he has. And it was just really interesting and moving, and it relates to me because I spent a lot of time in the desert in Canyonlands because I live here in Utah. So I just really enjoyed that movie.
Kirk, what do you say about 127 Hours?
This is one I have not seen yet. I hear that hand cutting scene is pretty gross, and I've kind of been avoiding it for that reason alone. But I gotta say no, just because I haven't seen it.
Alex, what do you say about 127 Hours?
I'm not a huge fan, to be honest. I'm sorry, Kelsey.
It's fine. Be honest.
I was like, I think I really love what it does, and I remember reading the book years ago in high school, and I really enjoyed it. And James Franco, he's very enigmatic in it. He's fantastic. But it's not a movie that I go back and like to rewatch. Maybe that's the point. But it's just comes down to, is it a movie that I continuously love to enjoy or feel challenged by? Not really. That's a good movie. Fine.
Chance, what do you say about 127 hours?
I really do like 127 hours a lot. I think Danny Boyle's direction just really elevate that movie to a whole nother level. The top 10 movie of that year for me. However, I think there is a way better biopic that came out that same year. And yeah, so it's going to be a no for me.
We'll be waiting for that title here pretty soon.
Yes, sadly, I wasn't a big fan of 107 hours either. It would have been a no for me. But Kirk, it's back to you for your next nomination.
My next nomination is another gritty crime drama movie. It's Serpico, story of Frank Serpico and his adventures and misadventures in the New York City Police Department. One of my probably top 5 Al Pacino performances. I mean, he just really dives into this role, and it's just a fascinating story of this character. Frank Serpico is just such an interesting person, and just outside of the hardships he had, trying to be an honest cop, just himself is a very interesting, very charismatic person, and Pacino plays it so well, and it's just such a great story. It's one of those things where I could watch it. It's like, if it was a 3-hour movie and nothing really happened, I could just watch him play that character. So yeah, I definitely think it belongs on the list.
Alex, what do you say?
I haven't seen it. I just haven't gotten to it yet. I was supposed to watch it for this, but I haven't gotten to it yet. I was in the middle of watching Patton. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Watch that. It's good. You'll like it.
Chance, what do you say?
Serpico is fucking rad. Yeah, I give it a yes. Something that Sidney Lumet's one of my favorite directors of all time. I think the dude is a master. Something I think he does a really good job of. He does a good job of really portraying struggle, and you feel Frank Serpico struggle, like battling this corrupt police force the entire time. And yeah, Pacino's fantastic in it. I give Serpico an absolute yes.
Yeah, sadly, I haven't seen this either.
Jesus Christ, Malcolm.
Kelsey, it's down to you.
I haven't seen it either.
Oh.
I can get mad at Malcolm, not get mad at Kelsey. Malcolm, you're a terrible host, and you should be changed. Kelsey, you're all right.
All right, thank
There's
you.
really no way that we can look things up online where best reviewed or just most critically acclaimed biopics. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, that's kind of like a weird gray area anyway. So
Yeah. But anyway, Alex, it's back to you for your next nomination.
Okay, it just hit me that we have listed 5 movies and none of them are about white people. So, I mean, they're all about white people. Sorry.
I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah. So I need to change up my line a little bit. I need to do something a little bit different. Okay, so I'm going to include a movie that's not a great movie. However, it is very close to my heart. It's very much a sentimental contribution. It is Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. Anyone sound familiar? That's fine. Okay. So,
is that the one I'm thinking? Let me check.
I'm sorry?
Okay. I got it. I know what this is now. Okay, continue.
Okay, so it has Jason Scott Lee that plays Bruce Lee, and it's the story about how he came from pretty much living in China, coming from a lower middle class family to being a child actor out in China, and actually making his way over into Hollywood. And not only that, how he became a real big star, the first Asian actor in Hollywood, major Hollywood actor. But not only that, how his relationships not only with Hollywood characters. My cat. What do you want, cat? My cat keeps trying to paw me. Sorry. But that in combination of his family life, his home life, and, goes on until his, his introduction into, martial arts into the mainstream. He made kung fu cool, really cool and mainstream in Hollywood movies, not just like kung fu movies, but like really cool within Hollywood as well. So, and a lot of today's movies are really influenced from that. But again, I know it's not a great movie, but it's a movie that, being Thai, that's something I grew up with. Really, Bruce Lee I had posters of him on my wall growing up, and this movie as a result was very, very close to my heart.
Chance, what do you say about Dragon, the Bruce Lee story?
Well, I'll say this: you definitely picked the better Bruce Lee biopic because Birth of the Dragon is a pile of crap. But yeah, I think. Look, I'm all for getting minorities on the list, and trust me, I'm gonna use my time to get one on the list on my next go. But Dragon and the Bruce Lee story, yeah, that ain't it, fam. Is enough for me.
Yeah, this is one I did try to find to watch, but as of yet, I just haven't found it. But Kelsey, what do you say about Dragon, the Bruce Lee story?
I have not seen it either, so it's now on my watch list.
And Kirk, what would you say?
Really?
If I can find it.
Unfortunately, I haven't seen this one either.
If you have stars, it's on Stars.
Oh, good to know.
But it's back to Chance for your next nomination.
Okay, fine. Don't worry, Alex. I got this. If you're concerned about the list getting too white, let me throw this one at you because my next nomination is going to Spike Lee joint Malcolm X.
Oh, thank heavens!
Malcolm X is one of the most complicated public figures to ever walk the earth. I mean, this dude is just so complex. You need somebody with some personal involvement, some understanding of what he preached and what he stood for. And Spike Lee was the perfect choice for this. I will say this is an investment in the movie. This movie's nearly 3.5 hours. It really takes you on an in-depth look at Malcolm X and his life and his relationships. Like he has a whole thing where as a youth he was involved with this gangster West Indian Archie, who like that dynamic is great. And it squeezes out maybe the best performance of Denzel Washington's entire career. This dude owns the screen every single time he's in frame. You are listening with attention. You're at the ready. You're taking notes. You were so captivated by Denzel Washington in this movie. In every single scene he has, it's the fact that he didn't win Best Actor for this movie. I think is just a blatant crime. And I think Spike Lee has several great biopics. I think this really works to his strength because his direction is on full display in this film. The Spike Lee joined through and through, and it's for one of the most important figures for the civil rights movement. So yeah, I think Malcolm X absolutely should be top 12.
But Alex, you got really excited about this. What do you say about Malcolm X?
That's actually in the top 5 of my list. So my personal list. So absolutely, yes, it's amazing.
Kirk, what do you say about Malcolm X?
I haven't seen this one yet.
Oh,
Do yourself a favor.
Kelsey, what do you say about Malcolm X?
I have not seen it either, so I will have to.
Malcolm, don't let me down. I know you're going to, but don't let me down.
Come on, dude. No pressure.
Yeah, you can make jokes about this all you want, but Malcolm has not seen Malcolm X.
Malcolm, why?
Gosh, this feels so wrong.
Spike, I tried, baby.
Yeah,
why you keep me down?
Malcolm X.
Valiant effort.
This hurts my heart.
But anyway, I'm going to. It's back to me. And I'm actually the next one I was going to bring up was a minority. It's also a Spike Lee joint, but I'm bringing up Black Klansman. But I don't. Yeah. It is a biopic, but yeah. This is about Ron Stallworth or
Ron Stallworth.
Yeah. Some reason in my head I was thinking Stallworth or something like that, but yeah. And this movie is just so great because you had like blanking on his name, but
Adam Driver.
Well, yeah, you've got Adam Driver in this. This the other two, just the one I was blanking on, but
Topher Grace.
Philip. Topher Grace. David Duke.
Yeah.
So good.
You're not really selling this movie, Malcolm.
John David.
John David Washington.
That's the one.
Oh, checking that again.
That's why you compete and we don't.
Oh, and we
Okay.
lost.
We lost him.
Malcolm, you want to hand that to me? Okay, you know what? I'll continue Malcolm's Rocco Grant for him. So this is a book I got at the premiere. It's actually signed by Ron Stallworth, who lives in my hometown.
Sorry about that.
Wow.
I think with Malcolm Beck. Trying to sell it for you, but you left.
Yeah, no, I accidentally closed the wrong tab that I wanted to, but yeah, no, this is one that I was surprised I really enjoyed, and I think it, even though it is pretty recent, I do think it belongs on the list. But Kelsey, what do you say about Black Klansman?
I loved Black Klansman. The cast is amazing. It is shot wonderfully and beautifully. I love the dialogue. I loved that movie. I've seen it multiple times. Hard yes for me. Absolutely. It's on my list. So
Kirk, what do you say about Black Klansman?
Here's where I'm at. When I was making my list, I had a real strict definition of biopic, where it was more about the movie had to be more about the person's life in general than something they did, or biopic versus based on a true story. That being said, I think this movie is good enough to make the list. I'll go to yes.
And with that, Black Klansman makes the list. Alex, what would you have said?
Finally. Yes.
Well, I mean, we got one.
It's not my favorite Spike Lee movie. Biography wise, I mean, I feel like Malcolm X is a superior movie in general, as well as biopic specifically. But if it's one or the other, I mean, for sure. I mean, like, I have no problem with adding it to the list.
And Chance, what would you have said?
This was my favorite movie of last year. I don't disagree with Kirk because you actually read Stallworth's book. It does play a little fast and loose with the actual true story what happened. But I think the core of the story is what's important, because it's about a guy who really just struggled with what he wanted to do, with what society either thought he was going to be or wanted him to be. And it's something that Spike Lee handles very well in this film. I think it's his best movie since he got game. Yeah, Black Klansman. It's not better than Malcolm X, but since we've all seen this one, I would have given it a yes.
Kelsey, it's back to you.
All right. Well, to also mix it up a little bit, I am going to nominate a movie about a woman. It also came out recently, but I really enjoyed it and saw it in theaters 3 times. I, Tonya. I thought Margot Robbie was brilliant in it. I love that it breaks the fourth wall and just the way it's written and shot. And also, it's such a controversial story. Like, who do you to believe? And they really played into that, where they showed both sides of the story, where she's not a great person, but also you could kind of be sympathetic with her. So I really enjoyed it, and so I would nominate it.
Kirk, what do you say about I, Tonya?
I, Tonya, Kelsey, that was actually the next movie on my list. So thanks a lot for taking away my chance to virtue signal here and nominate the woman. But
You're welcome.
But I love this movie. This is one of my favorite movies of the year. Came out. Margot Robbie I think she's probably one of the 2 or 3 best actresses working today, and she just killed it in this role. And just I loved, like Kelsey was kind of saying, the unreliable narrator, where you really don't know how much of it's true and how much of it's just the way they remember, the way they want it to be remembered. But getting that alternate point of view of the story, and just the idea of how celebrity and fame affect people, and how they're viewed by by the media and by the by the culture in general. I just thought it was a really fascinating movie. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, it's definitely yes for me.
Alex, what do you say about I, Tonya?
Iffy on it. I feel like I love that movie. I saw it twice in theaters, Kelsey. It was a personal favorite for me when it came out. I don't know if it's because it's so recent of a movie. I don't know if it deserves to be the top 10 non-musician biopics of all time. I don't know if it deserves to be in the same level, just because it is such a recent movie. It hasn't really settled yet, if that makes sense. So I'm going to vote no, but if it gives another few years, I would say yes.
Chance, what do you say about I, Tonya?
I also gotta give it a no. I think, just for me personally, Margot Robbie's fantastic in the film. I think Alison Janney is a really good performance. I think my problem with that time comes in the fact that I don't think it rides line of ambiguity hard enough. I feel like it skews very hard into one direction. And yeah, I think it would have been more interesting if they rode the line a little tighter. So yeah, Tanya's a no for me.
So it's down to me. I have seen I, Tonya, because Alex did bring up a good point about it being really recent, and that not too sure about, but I'm going to give it a slight yes, because I do love it, even if it does end up being a bottom tier one on the final list. So, but Kirk, it's back to you.
Okay, with my next pick, I'm going to keep the Scorsese train going, and I'm going to go with The Wolf of Wall Street. Just a good movie about a really bad person, and it's just great. It's just, Leo's great at it. It's Scorsese just doing what he does and having fun, and just a lot of. It's one of those movies. Another one of those movies, kind of like Goodfellas, or where it's just about watching it happen. There's no really great central focus story or plot. It's just an interesting story and interesting characters and a really well made movie. So I mean, it's one of my it's definitely one of my top Leo performances. It might be my favorite of his, and just the supporting cast: Margot Robbie again, Jonah Hill. Everybody's great in this. So yeah, I want to give this one a shot.
Alex, what do you say about The Wolf of Wall Street?
I never enjoyed a movie more about horrible people than I did watching this. That scene where he is going down the stairs trying to get into the car is probably one of my favorite movie scenes of all time. If we had a conversation about top 10 movie scenes of all time, that would be in the discussion, or at least a suggestion for me. So yeah.
Chance, what do you say about The Wolf of Wall Street? Funny, I knew this was going to come up, so I made sure to revisit this one specifically because I haven't seen it. I hadn't seen it in years. And I felt watching this again the same way I did watching the first time. To me, okay, I'll let you preface it this. I've been very much on record saying not a big fan of DiCaprio, like at all. There's something very off-putting about him to me. And to me, this movie just plays like a greatest hits album. It's just like, hey, those things you saw Leo do before? All those things you've seen Scorsese do in his movies and other things, other gangster movies? We're doing them all again, but this time with Quaaludes. I've never been one of the ones who's loved this movie. It just plays like a greatest hits album of like Leonardo DiCaprio performances. And in fact, I'm one of the few people who think Matthew McConaughey was the rightful winner of the Oscar when he beat Leo. So, yeah, Wolf of Wall Street's a definite enough for me.
But yeah, when you said Scorsese, when you said Leo, I thought you were going a different direction with that.
Give it time.
but I do like Wolf of Wall Street, but I'm going to have to say no to it as well. Kelsey,
my heart here. I mean, come on.
Malcolm, I love you.
As you guys put it, it's a great movie about terrible people, and those are like my favorite. I love a movie that can make people who you should not even want to ever have to meet in your entire life seem like, this is awesome. I want to watch them like for 5 hours. Like, Leo is amazing in it. Margot, I think it was the first thing I'd ever seen her in, and she just is so captivating on screen. I fell in love with her in that movie. Hard yes for me, absolutely. Loved that movie.
And with that, Wolf of Wall Street does make the list. And Alex, it's back to you.
Okay. I rewatched this movie. It's actually an animated movie. It's based on an autobiographical graphic novel. and it's called Persepolis. Okay, so this is a wonderful movie. It's actually follows the life of a young girl, actually, who is living through the Iranian Revolution. So, as we know, there's a lot of stuff went on. So, what was once a very it was very much a very westernized country at that point suddenly became incredibly conservative in a very short amount of time. So this girl went from wearing like leather jackets with like bands on them to suddenly she had to wear a burqa, and she was like, "Why? I don't understand why." But it was a huge thing. But this movie, I didn't realize at the time, but it is autobiographical, and it's such a beautiful movie. The visuals alone are astounding. They're gorgeous. But also, the story is really great. It's rich. It's funny. It's incredibly true. It's incredibly factual as far as like what happened. It's shown a lot in schools actually about the point of view of a child is like held in similar regards to like Anne Frank actually. So it's a beautiful story of a story that we haven't really as a society really heard of before all that much, and from a time period that we know absolutely nothing about, especially coming from a Hollywood movie, which I really, really loved.
Chance, what do you say about Persepolis?
It's funny when you said animated biopic, I thought you were going somewhere else because there was an animated movie based on true story that I did watch, but this ain't it. So I have not seen it, so I gotta excuse myself.
Yeah, this is one that I also haven't seen either.
Do yourselves a favor. It is beautiful. Check it out. It's so great.
I after looking it up, because I actually hadn't heard of it either. I actually will check it out at some stage. So, so Kelsey, what do you say about Persepolis?
Yeah, same. I have not seen it. It sounds amazing though, so it's definitely on my watch list, but I have not seen it at this point.
The graphic novel is amazing as well.
I'll have to look at that too. I love graphic novels.
And Kirk, what would you have said about Persepolis?
Yeah, I feel bad because it sounds like a really good pick, but I haven't seen it. And I didn't know it was autobiographical either. So, yeah, it's definitely one I'm going to check out in the future.
Hurting my heart, guys. Come on.
But Chance, it's back to you.
All right, so I'm going to go back to the year 2010 with the biopic that I believe should make this list. All I got to do is say one sentence. You got to make 500 million friends without making a few enemies. Talking about The Social Network. Now, like on paper, this movie just sounds all kinds of uninteresting. It's like a movie about making a Facebook, yawn, pass. But you got David Fincher, who's one of the best filmmakers working today. You have a great script by Aaron Sorkin, one of the best writers today. You also have a fantastic score by Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross, Nine Inch Nails, who knew they had musical talent they did for scoring films. It also, David Fincher has a talent for making you root for people against your best intentions. The whole time you're following Mark Zuckerberg, and like you really don't know where this guy lied because he's doing despicable things, he's ripping people off. But at the same time, there's just something about him that you just want to follow. Like Jesse Eisenberg, easily the best performance of his entire career. Andrew Garfield completely snubbed for Best Supporting Actor Oscar, not just an Oscar nomination, but an Oscar win, I would say as well. And also you got Justin Timberlake giving a surprisingly great performance. I like JT, but not known for being a great actor. So yeah, I think The Social Network, one of those movies that we're going to look back on in like 10, 20, 30 years, and we'll see it as one of the classics of this decade. So Social Network's my next nomination.
Yeah, Social Network's an easy yes for me. I love this movie, and it's another one of showing how someone became successful when they stole the idea from someone else, essentially. But yeah, this is a great movie. It's a yes. Kelsey, what do you say about The Social Network?
The only reason I haven't brought up sooner is because I knew somebody else had to, so I wanted to shine some light on some other movies. It's one of my favorite movies. Fincher's my favorite director. Sorkin, I love the way he writes dialogue. Like he's kind of Tarantino in the way where he makes people sound even more cool and people really could be. Like nobody talks that slick, but yeah, I want to now. I love his dialogue. Garfield should have won an award for it. It is disgusting that he didn't. So yes.
Kirk, what would you have said about The Social Network?
The performance I'm most impressed by in this movie is Armie Hammer playing the twins. I think he does such a good job of playing
so good.
two completely different people.
In the movie.
That being said, though, to me this falls into it's a technicality, but this is another one that falls into not so much a biopic, is more just based on a true story. And I kind of feel the way about Jesse Eisenberg I think Chance does about Leo. I'm not a big fan of the guy. I understand that, but give it up. Come on, you gotta give it up for this one. I don't think he's the right guy to be reading Sorkin's dialogue, because if you're not careful with Sorkin dialogue, it could sound like it's being read off a page, and Eisenberg always sounds like he's reading his dialogue off a page. I don't hate it. It's not a terrible choice, but just because I think there's better movies belong on the list, I'm gonna give this one a no.
Alex, what would you have said about The Social Network?
I've never seen it.
Now my heart hurts.
That movie's a gosh darn national treasure.
I will. You go see Social Network. We'll talk about it later.
That movie was on the list of movies that I wanted to see. But I believe that, you're absolutely right. I believe, Kirk, I was kind of, when putting together this list of movies that biopics, I was having a hard time trying to distinguish the difference between biopics and more like ensemble true stories that are technically called biopics. Like, I just saw Spotlight and it was technically labeled a biography, and I was like, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is.
It's
I would say it is.
I guess it is, but it felt more like an ensemble rather than about one or two people.
Yeah, it's not focused on one person's life.
A situation. It was more about a situation rather than a person.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, so I felt like that movie I categorized in that one, so it wasn't a huge priority for me to watch for this list. So
yeah. But anyway, it's back to me, and I'm going to bring up the other Scorsese Leo movie. I'm bringing up The Aviator. This is a good movie. It's like Howard Hughes, and Leo's role alone is really great in this movie. But you've also got Cate Blanchett playing Katharine Hepburn. Yeah, and you've got all these supporting cast playing other famous actresses, sort of that Howard interacted with during his time, and it's just one of those ones I revisited this just before as well, just to be sure that I was going to bring it up, and I still really enjoy this movie, and I think it belongs on the list. Kelsey, what do you say about The Aviator?
The Aviator is on my list as well. I love that movie. I actually rewatch it quite often. I think it is shot beautifully. It tells the story well. I think that's the movie where I fell in love with Cate Blanchett. She is Katharine Hepburn, and I love Katharine Hepburn. She did such a great job embodying the role. So it's a yes for me.
Kirk, what do you say about The Aviator?
Yeah, this was next on my list, and it's something I actually just recently saw for the first time. And the thing about this, it's not just one good movie. This is like 2 or 3 really good movies. All, like the stuff with Katharine Hepburn could be its own thing. All the stuff with the airlines could be its own thing. It's all combined in this really great story. So, I'm definitely going to put this one on the list if I guess saying it.
Alex, what would you have said about The Aviator?
I think it's a good movie. It's a beautiful movie, and you're 100% right. Cate Blanchett, Katharine Hepburn, she is so spot on. But to me, it's I feel like she steals the show, and I remember I watched this movie very recently, and I just kept catching myself flipping through my phone all the time. I just didn't enjoy it all that much, but I was glued. My eyes were glued to the TV every time Cate Blanchett was on TV. That's for sure.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Chance, what would you have said?
I also been in. We already have the 2 best Scorsese biopics on this list, and also Wolf of Wall Street. So yeah, I would have shot The Aviator.
You mean Gangs of New York is not a favorite? What?
It is not.
Anyway, Kelsey, it's back to you.
All right. This one, I don't know if it's nostalgia or if it is really that great, but I had to bring it up. I have probably watched this movie 1,000 times sitting in science classes in high school and junior high when we had a substitute teacher, October Sky. I love that movie, the story of Homer Hickman, where it's about his journey getting into rockets and that whole, it's just anything that can inspire children to get into engineering, math, and science is just a good thing because we definitely need more of that in the world. So I nominated that.
Kirk, what do you say about October Sky?
Unfortunately, this is one I have not seen.
How?
Alex, what do you say about October Sky?
I'm in the same boat as you, Kelsey. I grew up with this movie. My dad quizzes me on this movie. This is a father-daughter movie, so it's very sentimental. It's very close to my heart for sure. I don't know if it's a great movie. I think it's a good movie, but not a great movie. But I definitely, I really love it though. It's like, it's so good. It's so good. Okay, I'm gonna go vote yes. I love it that much. I'm gonna vote yes.
Chance, what do you say about October Sky?
October Sky. Funny thing about October Sky, I think it plays a lot to Joe Johnston's strength as a director, in that he has a knack for bringing like these old timey stories to life. He has a real like vintage classic feel to him, which is why he does great things like The Rocketeer or the first Captain America film. But October Sky, it didn't make my prelim list. I think there are more interesting biopics that we can put on this list. So I'm going to give October Sky now.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen October Sky once a wee while ago and just don't remember that much. So I'm going to have to say no, but yeah. Kirk, what's the next one you're going to bring up?
Okay, just looking at the logistics of it now, we're running out of spaces here, so it's probably going to be the last movie I get to nominate. So I got to decide: do I want to guarantee myself another spot, or do I want to talk about a movie that probably won't make it?
Oh God, really?
Let's talk about this. This is another newer movie, just came out in the past year or so that I really enjoyed, and it's Mary, Queen of Scots. No one really talked about this movie, really went under the radar, but we already talked about Margot Robbie, and it's her and Saoirse Ronan. Saoirse Ronan. Never get it right. But anyway, definitely those two. I think that's the 1 and 2. Those are the best two actresses working today. And they just both give such stellar performances in this. It's a beautifully shot movie. But I mean, it really rests on the two of them and what they do with it. It's about a very interesting time in British history and everything, the politics and all that. But again, it comes down to these two characters and the just the differences in their lives and what's going on with them and the different pressures they're under and what they're trying to do to maintain and gain control. So I really love this movie. And again, I know it's probably going to get, lose points because it's too new. And like I said, I don't know if people didn't like it or just nobody saw it, but I really loved it. And I think it deserves to be at least voted on.
Alex, what do you say about Mary, Queen of Scots?
This movie is officially available like on HBO or Amazon or one of the two. And it's a beautiful movie. I'm distracted by how often her accents change. Margot Robbie, Margot Robbie is fantastic as Tanya, and she gets the accent so correct. And then she whips out this movie, and her accent changes like every other scene, and it's distracting to me. And it just takes me out of the whole movie. So, no.
Chance, what do you say about Mary, Queen of Scots?
I mean, Kirk, there's a reason no one talks about this movie because it's not that great, not worth talking about. So, yeah, I remember I saw Mary, Queen of Scots. I saw that shit in theaters, and yeah, I remember it's just like a good, like, in one ear out the other type of period piece drama, especially because it also is, I think, overshadowed by other better period pieces, which are also in the biopics, which maybe we'll get to later in the show. Who knows? But yeah, it's a no. Mary, Queen of Scots is a no for me.
Yeah, I mean, I really did enjoy Mary, Queen of Scots myself, but in saying that, I also am going to say no to make the list because I think it's just falls outside of the top 12 for me. But yeah, Kelsey, what would you have said about Mary Queen of Scots?
I have not seen it, so it would have had to have been no.
But Alex, it's back to you.
Okay, so I'm gonna whip up a classic. I'm surprised no one has brought up, but it is based on a true story. It is a classic epic. It's arguably one of the top movies of all time, and that is Lawrence of Arabia. How has no one talked about this? I'm waiting for a wow here, guys. Come on! The amazing true story of T.E. Lawrence and his involvement of just everything that goes on in the Middle East during the World War I in particular, the craziness that ensues, between Northern Africa and the Middle East, the Ottoman Empire, the Turks, and everything is kind of coming together and breaking apart. And he's leading the different groups of the Bedouin leaders and everything. And it's based on this crazy true story of this British guy going into the Middle East. And it's beautiful. It's directed by David Lean, and it's one of the most beautiful movies you can ever see on film. And it's just creates this a really great visual. It's inspired a slew of other films to follow. And Peter O'Toole, I mean, good Lord, what a beautiful man. I mean, come on. And those icy blue eyes, it's fantastic. But is again one of the greatest, not only one of the top movies of all time, but it's also one of the greatest epic films and war movies of all time as well. It just so happens to be based on a true story.
Chance, what do you say about Lawrence of Arabia?
Yeah, Lawrence of Arabia, it's a fantastic film, one of the best of all time. I think everything you said is correct. It's just it's not a biopic I gravitate towards too. And I've seen Lawrence of Arabia one. I remember I saw it once in theaters, and that's the only time I've seen it since. So I think there are ones that I think resonate with me more, which is why I'm going to give Lawrence of Arabia a. It sucks, but I want to give it a no. I won't mind if it makes it, but it's a no.
But yeah, those that know me know that classics is probably my biggest blind spot with a lot of movies I've not seen, and this is sadly is one of them. Kelsey, what do you say about Lawrence of Arabia?
I have not seen it either.
Oh, no.
So.
Are you serious? Lawrence of Arabia is not going to be on this list?
It's a shame.
This is a legitimate problem, guys. That's like saying, yeah, okay, we need to take, okay, can I take out the founder and get this? I thought Lawrence of Arabia.
I'll back you. If you want to take out the founder, I'll back you.
Take out the founder. Take back that suggestion. This movie needs to be on the list.
Tanya, I'll back you.
I will fight you to the death. It inspired 1,000,001 movies. You can't come up with a better desert film. It is one of the best war movies. Come on, Kirk. Come on, help me out.
I mean, it didn't make my top 12, but I was totally ready to vote for it. I mean, it was on my list. I knew it would get brought up, and I knew I would vote for it. So yeah, I was on your side 100% here. I'm surprised. I'm surprised it didn't make it.
Malcolm, I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but can I change my vote? Because Alex convinced me. I'll give it a yes.
Yeah, I'll allow you to change your vote. I mean, I think I've done it at least once on Full Metal 5, so.
Thank you.
Because you know what, we need to bring some. If I Tanya and watch around this, we need to bring some legitimacy. So yeah, Lawrence of Arabia, I'll allow it to you.
I say we already have 3 suggestions for Scorsese movies. I mean, come on, guys.
But anyway, Chance, it's back to you. There's only 2 spots left.
Okay. All right, 2 spots. Wow, this is a shame because very few of what I actually had on my list is actually going to make it on. So this is tough. And yeah, okay. So I'm gonna go with another one that also technically a war movie. It documents a really bad time in human history, and the one guy who, really was in a tough spot because of who he is and where he came from. So I'm gonna go with Steven Spielberg's Schindler's List. Schindler's List it's not an easy movie to watch, like at all. Much like a lot of movies I bring up on the show, let's be honest. It's an investment of a film, but I feel like this is maybe Spielberg's most personal film he's ever done. Just the way that he portrays, these camps, and the way Oscar Schindler is portrayed, who is in a really tough love, being being a German who wants to help these people and kind of just go against his nation. You're with him through this entire journey. I think Ralph Fiennes is a complete son of a bitch, and you hate him the entire time. Great performance from him. And I also think the use of color in this film is it's phenomenal. I think when you hear Spielberg talk about it, like the reason he's black and white, because color to him represents life. So the very few splashes we do get, it's very interesting the way he uses it. I also think that the emotional resonance of this film is very, very important, because this is one of the few films on TV that doesn't get edited down. It's Spielberg on that. So yes, Schindler's List is going to be my next pick.
But this is going to be a yes for me. I mean, it feels weird saying that I enjoyed watching Schindler's List. It's not an easy watch, but it's still. But I mean,
I need something fun. So Schindler's List.
Yeah, but yeah, it's definitely a yes for me. Like just Liam Neeson alone shows the emotion of this movie. I mean, it's one I'm probably not going to revisit for any other list, but it's still a good movie regardless. Kelsey, what do you say about Schindler's List?
Any movie that can make you feel as much as you feel while watching that movie is definitely something I enjoy. I think it's beautifully shot. The use of color. I don't think it would have been as impactful if it had been filmed in color. So that was a wonderful choice. I have not revisited this movie in a long time, strictly because of how hard it is to watch. But it's a yes for me. Now I feel like I kind of need to rewatch it.
With that, Schindler's List does make the list. Kirk, what would you have said?
It's hard for me because I nothing you guys said is wrong. You're 100% right. It's a fantastic movie. It has so much to say. It's such an important movie, but it doesn't make my definition of a biopic. It's about something this guy did. It's not necessarily about his life. It's just about something that happened. So I would have said no on a technicality, but I mean, it's a fantastic movie.
And Alex, what would you have said about Schindler's List?
I really want to take off some movies. And re-prioritize.
As you should.
This was on my list, but again, this is another movie that I assumed was going to be on the list. But honestly, knowing that some movies like Raging Bull might be on this list is very frustrating.
Raging Bull did make the list.
It didn't? I thought it did.
No, it did. She's not happy about that.
That's what I said.
It did. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Knowing that the movie Raging Bull did make the list, while some movies like this almost didn't or did. I mean, like, and I'm saying yes. It's just
yeah.
It's like they're just on completely different levels, for sure. I feel bad. I kind of want to take The Founder off the list now.
No, it's a good movie.
Please.
I also want to take I, Tonya off the list. So there you go.
Also, again, please.
There you go.
But anyway, it's back to me for my next nomination. And I'm gonna. And I'm actually going to try and get another female on the list. I'm going to go for the Iron Lady. This is just a fantastic biopic about Margaret Thatcher with Meryl Streep just playing Margaret just perfectly, and just Meryl Streep's just one of those ones who can sort of disappear into a role and just disappear and just pretend like you think that you were watching her on screen at all times. But this is just a great movie, and I do enjoy it. I haven't seen it in a while, but I do remember that I've seen it. But yeah, Kelsey, what do you say about the Iron Lady?
I have not seen it, so it's a pass for me. I don't know.
Kirk, what do you say about the Iron Lady?
It's on my, I think, Netflix queue right now. I haven't seen it. I won't be mad if it makes the list because it probably deserves it, but I haven't seen it yet.
Alex, what do you say about the Iron Lady?
I didn't like it. I didn't think it was well done. I really don't. Overall, I mean, Meryl Streep is great in everything she does, but aside from that,
Chance, what would you have said about the Iron Lady?
Kirk, let me assure you, this movie does not deserve on this list because it's fucking dull. So no, it's a hell no from me.
thank you. Can't deny.
Kelsey, it's back to you.
All right, I didn't think I was gonna get to go again. Okay, I'm going to go with back to scientists, mathematicians, engineers, and their impact on our world. The Imitation Game. I enjoyed this movie thoroughly. It's amazing to see the impact of how not just soldiers and things can make an impact when there's war, how there are people in the background making a difference. Also, Alan Turing went through a lot, specifically because he was gay and had a very bad thing happen to him because of it. And it's a tragic story, but it's also an inspiring story. And so I nominated it for the list.
So Chance, what do you think?
Yeah, what do you think about that?
Okay, no, like I did like this because here's the thing. I love The Imitation Game. I think it's a great film. Cumberbatch gives a fantastic performance in it. It just it sucks that I feel like I have to say no to it. And I will say now, Kirk, I know what you're gonna pull because you're gonna say like, it's about an event. It's not really about the person. I will say that like I like when biopics like don't. I don't think they necessarily go from birth to death. I feel like if you like channel some key events,
Yeah,
I feel like that's enough. But the Imitation Game is great. But I sadly this is the hardest no for me the entire show. I got to really know.
Alex, what do you say about the Imitation Game?
I'm up there with you, Kelsey. I actually just saw this for the first time maybe a month or so ago, and I really, really enjoyed it. I just don't think it deserves to be on the list to be in the same conversation as Lawrence of Arabia, Wolf of Wall Street, and Schindler's List.
Imagine that's where you go.
But great movie, great all around. It's not amazing. It's really good though to me.
Kirk, what do you say about the Imitation Game?
Yeah, I mean, Chance called it. It's Kelsey started talking about all the things that were going on with the code break and everything.
I fucking knew you were.
It's very much more about that story. I would love to see a much more detailed story about Alan Turing's life because it's very interesting. It is a very important story, and he was a very important man. But I don't think it focuses enough on him and his life to warrant being on this list.
But yeah, I also watched this for the first time yesterday in preparation for this. I actually would have given it a yes. I did like the Imitation Game, but yeah. Anyway, it's back to Kirk for your next nomination.
Okay, this is one. Okay, guys, we're going to separate art from artist, and I'm going to nominate Braveheart. It's a just classic, great, epic story of William Wallace and his battle against the tyranny of the English. And this is been one of my favorite movies for a long time. I loved it. It's one of my this is like one of the first movies I watched on the big screen where I was like, wow, this really saw what movies could do. And yeah, I love the story. I love the action back before, when fight scenes, big battle scenes were with all actual people. If they made this movie today, it would just be like little CGI minions running around. But you have people really running across the field with axes and swords and stuff, and just great battle scenes, great story, inspirational story, and I really enjoy it.
Alex, what do you say about Braveheart?
I love this movie. Again, a father-daughter movie in my household. And yes, I think Garth, he just said it's completely inaccurate, and I mean, they knew that when they were making it. They're making a movie about accuracy, and for sure, Garth is on point there. But I really do love this movie, but it's not a great movie, if that makes sense. I love this movie. It's not a great movie though by itself. No. I mean, they're wearing like watches in war scenes. Like, come on.
Do you want to have a water bottle also?
Come on.
I mean, they probably didn't have Starbucks around, but
what?
Would have been.
People are on their phones in the background. I mean,
yeah.
Just a little editing.
But Chance, what do you say about Braveheart?
Look, you can say what you want about Mel Gibson, and Lord knows I have, but you can't deny the dude has dude's a great director. He knows how to do these like big bombastic action sequences, like battle sequences. Granted, at times it can get a little much, but I do think that style works for it. And those are some very entertaining sequences. That being said, I'm giving Braveheart a no. because I mean, if Kirk's going off the grounds, this is following an event, not a life. This doesn't follow an event or a life properly. So it's an entertaining film. I never gravitated toward as much as other people, but at the same time, I think I can watch and enjoy it. It's just not one that grabs me as hard as it grabs others. So it's a no from me.
But yeah, I remember watching Braveheart once when I was a young lad.
Young lad.
But
young lad.
Young lad.
But yeah, it's going to be a no for me. It's one that I do want to revisit at some stage, just see on how I feel about it now. But yeah, it's going to be a no at this stage. Kelsey, what do you say about Braveheart?
As a movie, it is fun. It is very entertaining to watch. It does bother me how off the story is, especially that's a part of history that I find absolutely fascinating. So for him to get it so wrong and kind of knowingly get it wrong and not care, I don't know. It would have been a no for me probably too.
So the battle for the final spot continues with Alex.
Yes. Come on. I need a good one. Okay, I need a good one, and I have so many options. I put down like 20 movies, putting the list together. No pressure. Do I want to go with another white guy? Do I want another horror movie? I don't know. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go with arguably one of the greatest, one of my favorite comedy to drama movies of all time. I'm going to go with a little dramedy known as Man on the Moon. 1999's Man on the Moon, starring Drew Carey. I believe it's directed by Danny DeVito. If not, he's in
Jim Carrey?
Fantastic. It's wonderful. It's based on a true story. It's completely biopic based on, I can't remember the guy's name, but it's wonderful. It's a really great character analysis of not only how weird Hollywood could be, but how beautiful Hollywood can be when it comes to these incorporating these really weird, cool characters and actors. And Jim Carrey, I mean, he steals the fucking show. He's fantastic. You know what you need to do? You need to do a top 10 comedians in movies, and this needs to be in there. Okay, along with King of Comedy. But Man on the Moon definitely needs to be in consideration for one of the best biographical movies of all time. It's wonderful in every single way.
Chance, what do you say about Man on the Moon?
So just to fact check some Alex's statements, this movie is about Andy Kaufman, comedian Andy Kaufman, and is directed, although it stars Andy DeVito, who was on Taxi with Andy Kaufman. It was directed by Milos Forman. Now, I used to like this movie quite a bit, actually, because I used to think Andy Kaufman was really funny. But I found that the more I found out about Andy Kaufman's actual life, the less I actually liked this film. Just because there are so many things that they changed that was just unneeded. I think would have been made for a far more interesting film had they not done that. So yeah, I think as a huge Kaufman fan, I granted I will give you Jim Carrey's performance is really good in it, but yeah, I think I got to give this one a no.
Hurting my heart.
Um,
Respect that though.
Kelsey, what do you say about Man on the Moon?
I have not seen it, so I can't give my input.
Kirk, what do you say about Man on the Moon?
Haven't seen it.
Come on. Good Lord.
I have seen it. I do think it's a great movie. I probably would have said no just because I think there's one that hasn't come up yet, which I think should be on here over this. But I mean, this would have been really close if it was a top 15, or it would have been really close for me. But yeah. So Chance, it's back to you.
Okay, didn't think I had the chance again, but it's tough. So many ones I like on this list. So I think this is tough. I think I'm gonna go with the one I debated going with my last turn. I'm going with 1994's Ed Wood. Ed Wood is famed for being one of the worst directors to ever grace the silver screen. But I think this movie does a great job illustrating the earnestness of Ed Wood, because this is a guy who, like, he, for all intents and purposes, should not be making movies. He has no idea what the hell he's doing. He's screwing up. He's wasting tons of money in the process. But at the same time, you're still with him on this journey because, like, you feel how much he's trying to be a good director. You know, he wants to be a filmmaker. You know, this is something he's dreamed about his entire life. And you honestly, you feel kind of bad for him that, like, things, you know, his movies aren't going to be good, but like when they come out and they are just poorly received, you feel a certain amount of sympathy for him. I also love the relationship he has between Ed Wood and Bela Lugosi. First of all, Johnny Depp is fantastic in this film, and Martin Landau as Bela Lugosi, he's great, won an Academy Award, and you can really feel that this is a really, really personal thing for Tim Burton, just because it does mirror his relationship with Vincent Price during a lot of it. I think this is one of the best movies ever made about making movies. So I think Ed Wood should definitely be top 12. If Tanya and the Founder can get on this list, Ed Wood should too.
Yeah, sadly, I haven't seen Ed Wood. But
God damn it, Malcolm.
hey, it's on my list. I've got a long list of movies I want to watch. But Kelsey, what do you say about Ed Wood?
It's been a while since I've seen it. I do remember that Johnny Depp is amazing in it. The direction by Tim Burton is great as always. It did feel like a love letter to filmmaking to me. Like, it really did show, you know, if you love something that much and put passion into it, maybe it's not going to be great, but you made something and you get to watch it and see it. I'll vote yes.
Kelsey, my hero.
Kirk, what do you say about Ed Wood?
I'm tempted to lie and say I've seen it because it probably deserves to make the list, but I haven't seen this one yet. I've been chasing. I've been wanting to see it for a long time, just haven't seen it yet.
Alex, it's down to you.
I haven't seen it.
Oh no! So close.
But yeah, sadly, Ed Wood does not make
I tried.
But you put forth the effort, so you know, props to that. Not like Malcolm, lazy dick.
But it's back to me, and I'm going to go for a stretch because this is another one that could to be classed as a based on a true story that is not a true biopic. But I'm bringing up The Queen from 2006. This is sort of based about the lead up to the death of Princess Diana, and it shows sort of Helen Mirren as the Queen, sort of reacting to the news and starting from the election and all that. And I really like this movie. I don't like. I mean, if it doesn't get on, I understand because it is also not a typical biopic either. So I just thought I'd throw it out there, see what happens. Kelsey, what do you say about The Queen?
I know I've seen it, but I don't remember it very well, which kind of feels like it speaks to me a little bit on how engaged in the movie I was. So I will say no.
Kirk, what do you say about The Queen?
Yeah, I would say on this one, first and foremost, I like the movie, but what I like is Helen Mirren's performance. She's amazing in this, but beyond that, it doesn't have much to lean on. So, and it's almost like without her performance, it almost feels like a made-for-TV movie. She's the one that elevates it to something beyond that, but that's the only thing that elevates it. So, I mean, it's close, but I'm going to say no.
Alex, what do you say about the Queen?
Nope.
Chance.
Yeah, just because nobody else, well, I'll give it a yes.
It's a great movie.
Very diplomatic.
We're getting stingy with our last spot, okay?
Wait, do we have 11? I thought we only have 10 on the list, or is it 11?
We're at 11.
It's 11.
We have one space left.
What did I not put down? Because there's something that's not on my list.
If you look at the chat, the private chat, it's all on there.
Okay. Oh, whoops.
This is getting intense.
Kelsey, it's back to you.
I never thought I'd make it this far. Okay, I'm gonna do one that was just a fun story and acted really well and inspiring to me, which is Julie and Julia. Meryl Streep is a goddess as Julia Child. Nobody else could have played that role. And it actually inspired me. I actually bought the cookbook, Mastering the Art of French Cooking, and have cooked out of it because of that movie. Amy Adams is amazing in it as well and very charming as Julie Powell. And so I will nominate that movie.
Because we're going to get the Iron Lady on the list, I'm going to say yes to Julie and Julia. I do like this movie, and Meryl Streep deserves to have at least one movie on the list. Chance, what do you say about Julie and Julia?
I like Julie and Julia, but it's enough for me.
Alex, what do you say about Julie and Julia?
Same. I love that movie, but it's a no.
Kirk.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Do yourself a favor.
Not a biographical picture.
So Kirk, with that, it's back to you.
Wow, I did not expect this. Okay, I'm just going to go with the movie on my list that I think has the best chance of making it now at this point. And I'm going to go with American Splendor. It's Paul Giamatti's great in this movie. And also just the fact that just the way the story is told, the way they break the fourth wall, the way that the real Harvey Pekar shows up and kind of, talks and interacts with the characters. It's just such a really interesting movie, just from a filmmaking standpoint and a way to tell a story. And it's just a really interesting story about a guy like just kind of like a lovable loser who just going through his life and doing what he wants to do. And it's a great performance by I just blanked on his name. I just said Paul Giamatti. So yeah, I really like this movie. I think it's a really great biopic. Again, it's a small movie. It's not about somebody really big or important, but it's just a really well told story.
Alex, what do you say about American Splendor?
I've never seen it. It sounds really interesting. I just looked it up, and it sounds like a movie I'd be really excited about. So
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Today, I just found out about it. So thank you.
Chance, what do you say about American Splendor?
This is tough for me because I do like American Splendor. I think it's one of the it's technically a comic book film. It's one of the most unconventional, and also Paul Giamatti is great in the movie. One of the few times in his career he's played a likable character. Look it up. It's very rare. But I'm gonna lean ever so slightly towards no. And if the other two say no or haven't seen it, I'll change my vote to yes. Just for you.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I tried to find it for a different list to this, but couldn't find it. I didn't think of it for this one because I'm stupid. Kelsey, what do you say about American Splendor?
I had not heard of it either, so I definitely sounds like a great movie. I want to see it. But
check it out.
Okay, I give it a yes. There you go.
Alex, it's back to you for your next nomination.
Good morning, Vietnam. That's the movie I'm going to go with. Not only is it a gosh darn American treasure, it is a fantastic movie. Bruno Kirby, Robin Williams. I mean, it's Cecil Whitaker. It's Sorry, Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker?
Forrest Whitaker, not Cecil Whitaker. Sorry.
Who is Cecil Whitaker?
It's called Cecil Whitaker, so that's when I see every day. So sorry, Forrest Whitaker. It's just so good. It's from the point of view of it's from an unusual story. We do get quite a few movies about the Vietnam War, but not from the point of view of this guy that works in radio at a whose sole purpose is to bring some smidgen of life and joy into the hearts of these soldiers that are out in Vietnam, where the average lifespan of a soldier was like 3 weeks upon arrival into Vietnam at the age, and most of them died by the age of like 19 and a half. So, and that was his job as a radio DJ. And when he would do crazy things like do impressions or put on music that was a little too rock star for military's liking, he gets pulled, and much to the soldiers' sadness. So, but it's such a wonderful story that's not only from that kind of interesting point of view of the war at the time, but it's also really great from that point of view of the story of, some in talking with some of the characters with that were the Vietnamese as well, from their point of view, and why they're as far as like why a lot of them are retaliating against some of the Americans and everything. It's just such a beautiful story all around, well acted, well directed. The scene, what a beautiful world while the explosions are going off. One of the most cry-worthy scenes ever in history. I don't care who you are, where you're from, you're going to cry watching that scene. But it's just beautiful overall. And if you don't vote yes in this movie, I want to punch you in the face.
Chance, what do you say about Good Morning Vietnam?
I'll get the ice and steak ready because I like Good Morning Vietnam quite a bit. I had to Google to make sure. I'm just like, wait, that's a biopic, and I turned out very loosely based on like a real guy. It's a really good movie. One of Robin Williams' best. I think there are better Vietnam-centric biopics though, so I'm gonna lean towards no.
Yeah, I also had to look this up just to be sure, and I'm probably going to give it a loosely yes. I do think it's a good movie, and I think even though it's loosely based on his life, I don't think that should be held against the movie because it's good, and it is still a biopic of sense. So, Kelsey, what do you say about Good Morning Vietnam?
I have not seen it. It's on my watch list.
Oh, that hurts the heart, guys.
Alex is finding out so much about Cool
Just breaking my heart.
You may need to rethink your
off,
position
so
on
it's
Call to
fine.
Action.
I mean, like every time I wear this shirt, they threaten to kick me off, so it's fine.
But Kirk, what do you say about Good Morning Vietnam?
I'm glad my vote doesn't matter because I haven't seen it.
Good, I'm not alone.
Wait, doesn't it though?
Or does it? I guess it does.
I mean,
It doesn't matter, but you haven't seen it. So.
Yeah.
But Chance, it's
I need to hug my
you.
cats.
Okay, so back to me. I'm gonna go with I may as well go back to Vietnam, what I think is the better Vietnam biopic. I'm going with Oliver Stone's Born on the 4th of July because I think this really illustrates like the treatment of veterans that got back. First of all, Tom Cruise's movie is phenomenal, and this is something that at the time people didn't think he was capable of because he was Cocktail and he was Risky Business. He was Johnny Top Gun. But he brought this, and he brought just so many emotional levels to this movie, from like when he's just like a young upstart soldier, to at the end where he's just like this hardcore like anti-war activist, and just like the amount of like pathos, the amount of like drama he brought to this role, I think is phenomenal. I think his relationship with Willem Dafoe, who plays Charlie, his buddy, another veteran, I think that's really, really well done. Also got Kira Sedgwick doing a really good performance in this movie. I think this is one I think gets often overlooked over in the spectrum of Tom Cruise, and even the spectrum of biopics in general. I think when people need to revisit Born on the 4th of July, so I will throw that in for my next vote.
I had a betting pool against all the fan community for people to guess how long it was going to take for Chance to
How long was it going to take?
Born on the 4th of July. Whoever had 84 minutes as one. I think there might have been Brian Michaels somewhere. But Alex, what do you say about Born on the 4th of July? Alex is kind of frozen on me.
Yeah, a little bit frozen.
Okay, so it's not just me. She gives it a yes. She gives it a yes.
But while we wait for Alex to sort of come back, yeah, I could hear you. Did you say you haven't seen it?
I missed it. No.
She says she's seen it. She loves it and gives it a yes. So I speak bad Wi-Fi connection, so I understand what you're saying.
But yeah, she says she's never seen it in the chat anyway, which is what I gathered that she did say. Kirk, what do you say about Born on the 4th of July?
I guess Vietnam Biopics is a blind spot of mine because I haven't seen this one either.
Oh.
Kelsey, what do you say about Born on the 4th of July?
No, don't go to Kelsey, Malcolm. You let me down like a man.
I have seen it. I do think it is definitely a turning point in Tom Cruise's career where he put out a different type of character and really acted the heck out of it. The cast is great. It's an engaging story. I'll vote yes. So,
thank you, Kelsey.
You're welcome.
So it's down to me to decide. I'm not a big fan of this movie. But
you know what? I would have rather you not seen it.
But I'm still going to give it a yes because in terms of biopics, I do think it belongs on the list.
Oh my God.
You're just trying to finish this episode, aren't you?
Yeah.
No.
I see what you're doing. I don't appreciate it.
But with that, we have hit our 12. Alex, what honorable mentions do you have?
Ooh, I have quite a few. Let me see. Okay, so I have Eddie the Eagle, Marie Antoinette, American Gangster, Motorcycle Diaries, Elephant Man, The Act of Killing, although I feel like that's technically more of a documentary, Ip Man, and Pawn Sacrifice, and Frida.
Kelsey, what honorable mentions did you have?
All right. I had less of them. I didn't come with as long of a list. I had King's Speech, Molly's Game, and Lovelace.
And Kirk, what honorable mentions did you have?
The next movie I was going to bring up for you all to vote no to was going to be Cobb, the Ty Cobb biopic with Tommy Lee Jones. Really like that movie.
Oh, Cobb.
Yeah.
This is Cobb. I'm like, what the hell is Cobb?
That's really, if you haven't seen that one, check it out. It's a good movie. Chaplin, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, Bronson, Bugsy, 42, King's Speech, Private Parts, and Lincoln, because it didn't. I love Lincoln, but it didn't fit my biopic definition, so I couldn't put it on there. But it's an honorable mention.
Mm-hmm.
Chance, what honorable mentions did you have?
Okay, so ones that I had, you guys didn't bring up. What I like to call the crop of biopics from 2013 that are way better than Wolf of Wall Street. 12 Years a Slave, Captain Phillips, and Fruitvale Station. I think those are all fantastic films. Tom Cruise again coming in with American Made. I think that's a really underseen movie from 2017. I really enjoyed the movie a lot. One that I saw specifically for this list, Basquiat. I grew up. It follows the life of real life painter Jean-Michel Basquiat. I grew up loving his art, so to see his life play out like this, I think was really great. JFK. I know Kirk would have shot that down because his definition of a biopic. Same thing with Moneyball. At Eternity's Gates. Patton, Bonnie and Clyde. Unconventional one, American Animals. It's pretty much a movie, but it's told in a much different way than
I like that
most
movie.
biopics.
That's a great
I
movie.
thought it was more of an ensemble rather than like about a
The Big Sick is one I have on my list. Boys Don't Cry, the end of the tour, Rush, Steve Jobs, Rudy, The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Rob Ford, Chariots of Fire, Pride of the Yankees, and The Untouchables.
I just want to say I'm shocked Pat didn't even get voted on. I thought for sure we'd at least bring that up to be on the list.
Well, we had to make room for
I'm
Itanya.
watching it right now, and I think it's a fun time. But that
Never gonna live that down.
You will not.
Low key weird as fuck.
I actually completely forgot American Made was that biopic, to be honest. Otherwise, I would have actually brought that up.
You feel like, no, I believe Tom Cruise actually did this work for the CIA, FBI, DEA, and drug cartels.
Not.
And mustn't forget Elizabeth, 1998's Elizabeth.
Yes. Oh, that.
That's a good one.
Kate Blanchett. That
I'm
movie's
more
great.
of a Elizabeth Golden Age man myself.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm kidding.
That would be kind of rough sometimes, but
anyway, someone mentions I had was, even though it's technically not a biopic from Kirk's definition, but I had The Disaster Artist on mine.
I love the Disaster Artist.
I had Beautiful Mind. I had The Blind Side. I had Fighting with My Family. I had
Blindside.
I
Come on, dude.
I
How
had
many more white savior movies do we need? I mean, come on.
I had
Movie does not
Everest.
hold up.
I had Jackie. I had Cool Runnings. I also had Captain Phillips Lincoln in 42. I had Saving Mr. Banks and I had Finding Neverland. But now we get to we're at the part where we actually vote on the way that we want to do it. So write down what we want for number 12 on a whiteboard, bit of paper, or whatever is handy.
Let me go see if I can go find one. 1 second. Buddy.
But yeah, for those watching, so I do have the poll for next week's topics up there. It's all going to be a DC related because of Joker coming out, as well as the Oververse opening. So, and believe it or not, I haven't actually done a DC movies list at all, Malcolm. So it's going to be fun to actually have been able to do all DC things for a change. So.
Okay, so how are we doing this again?
What you want? What movie you want at number 12?
12.
And the list is the one that's listed in the private chat, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Cool. Could you since I was just re-added to the thing, all of those were like deleted. Could you add them again?
Yep.
Yeah, because I only have Born on the 4th of July as the most recent add-on. As the only thing.
Right. Chance, what do you want for 12?
Greatest Hits, the movie, aka Wolf of Wall Street.
Kirk, what do you want for 12?
I said Catch Me If You Can.
Kelsey, what do you want for 12?
I put I, Tonya.
As much as I like the movie, I also put I, Tonya. Alex, what do you have for 12?
Catch Me If You Can.
So, Chance, Catch Me If You Can or I, Tonya?
Oh boy, Leo versus Tanya Harding. Oh, what a
I
fight
didn't
this is to
rewatch
me.
that movie.
I'll say I Tanya. I Tanya's 12.
So is Catch Me If You Can automatically 11, or do we vote again?
We vote again.
Okay.
I mean, it'll probably as long as no one changes their votes, I'm pretty sure it's probably going to end up that anyway. But
Mhm.
Okay, so now are we voting on number 11?
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, shoot.
but Kelsey, what do you want for 11?
I didn't see it, but just from Alex, I'll put Raging Bull.
Alex,
Black Klansman.
as much. I put The Founder. Chance, what do you have for 11?
I didn't change Wolf of Wall Street.
And which means we've got a 5-way tie. So chat, out of those
Wow.
5, Catch Me If You Can, Raging Bull, The Founder, Black Klansman, or The Wolf of Wall Street, which one do you guys want at 11? And Stardrew has The Founder at 11.
So we're going with The Founder at 11.
Yeah, I haven't seen anyone else comment there, so yeah.
I'm okay with that.
What?
Okay. We're getting somewhere.
How dare you?
I mean, considering Alex wanted to take The Founder and I Tonya off, so
Yeah, so you're getting your way.
I'm okay to say if we could get, because I thought some of these other movies would be shoo-ins, like Lawrence of Arabia, guys. That should have not been a struggle.
I thought Founder had no chance, so I'm fine with it 11.
Yeah.
But now we're on to 10, and Alex, what do you have for 10?
I stand by it again. Catch me if you can.
Which is funny because I ended up going Black Klansman.
Welcome. Come on now.
Who?
Chance.
Oh, my bad. Okay, I didn't hear you. I'm gonna keep going until it's out the board. Wolf of Wall Street.
Kirk
Catch Me If You Can.
and Kelsey.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Kelsey knows how to play
Malcolm.
the game.
Malcolm, you do the right thing. You do the right thing now, goddammit.
Well, I'm on record to say that I really love Catch Me. I'm on record to say that I love Catch Me If You Can. So Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, boo! That's terrible.
Thank you.
I
Malcolm,
respect
you're off
that.
my shit list.
Can't believe that Movies Ahead is ranked lower than Catch Me If You Can. I can't get over that.
Yeah, that's not
mind
okay.
boggling to me. And Leo's in both. I mean, come on. 1.0 and Leo 2.0. Let's be honest.
But now we're on to 9, and I've got Black Klansman still. Chance, what do you have?
Oh, wait.
Let's keep Leo at the bottom. The Aviator.
Oh, I forgot about that movie. Shit.
Kirk, what do you have for 9?
Catch Me If You Can. Let's get this off the list. Jeez.
Kelsey, what do you have
You
for
all
9?
suck. I'll agree with you. Catch me if you can.
And Alex, what do you have for 9?
I mean, they already have it done. We're good.
Right, now we're on to 8. And Chance, you're sticking with the Aviator?
I am sticking with the Aviator because that's how you do this show. You commit.
Kirk,
I went with Born on the 4th of July.
Kirk, you're dead to
Kelsey, what do you have for 8?
Raging Bull.
Alex,
Aviator.
and I've got Black Klansman, but Aviator is going to be 8.
Thank you, Alex.
Oh. Hey, just saying, Garth is whipping out some awesome comments, and also he votes on Wolf of Wall Street at 10. So no, Garth, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Significantly higher.
But
I'm not going anywhere. Iconic.
But Kirk, what do you have for 7?
Sticking with it.
Kelsey, what do you have for 7?
Same. Born on the 4th.
Alex, what do you have for 7?
Born.
I have Black Klansman. And Chance, what do you have for 7?
Because it resonates with me the least. You know what? I'm gonna save that because isn't Born already at 7?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm saving mine. I'm gonna save mine.
Harry Secret. Nice.
Happy Tom Cruise higher than Leonardo DiCaprio. So we're all good.
But yeah, but I've got Black Klansman for 6. Alex, what do you have for 6?
Raging Bull.
Kelsey, what do you have for 6?
Raging Bull.
Kirk,
Black Klansman.
Chance.
I had neither of those 2 movies.
So Black Klansman or Raging Bull, which do you want at 6?
This hurts. This really hurts. Yeah, it's as much as I love the movie. Black Klansman is number 6.
Chance, if you wanted to save Raging Bull, you should have showed me your vote.
And what movies do you have remaining?
So we've got Goodfellas, Raging
Raging
Bull.
Bull, Social Network, Lawrence of Arabia, and Schindler's List.
This is actually really tough.
Yeah, it's getting hard now. Well, actually, this one's easy for me. After that's going to be hard.
Yeah, same here.
It's funny how so many of them revolve around. What? You hear that?
Yeah.
But Chance, what do you have for 6? 5.
Because the one that resonates with me to the least on this list. Go with Lawrence of Arabia.
Kirk, what do you have for 5?
Social Network.
Kelsey, what do you have for 5?
Raging Bull.
Alex, what do you have for 5?
Raging Bull.
Monsters.
I also I had the Social Network.
Movie.
Oh!
So
So
Chance-
me again? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
God,
Social
damn,
Network
all
or
right.
Raging Bull?
It's Social Network. Raging Bull moves on.
No.
That movie's pretentious AF.
Except it's not though.
And where does the name Raging Bull even come from? Is he ever called Raging Bull? No. He's just.
It's from the poem at the beginning.
I get it. Whatever.
Movies didn't justify
What?
the title. -1 star.
Awful.
Kirk, what do you have for 4?
Lawrence of Arabia.
Kelsey, what do you have for 4?
Raging Bull.
Alex?
Fighting for you, Alex.
Schindler's motherfucking List.
I had Raging Bull. Chance.
Raging Bull does not
Lawrence of Arabia.
deserve
I know
to
where
be
it's
in the
going.
top list.
What was that, Chance?
I had Lawrence of Arabia, so it's up to Alex. I know where she's going with this.
So, Alex, do I need to ask you, or can I just assume you're going Raging Bull for
Yes. Jesus. Obviously. Like, get this title out of my face.
Alright, so Lawrence of Arabia, Schindler's List, and Goodfellas.
Okay. Oh, and Garth confirms that Raging Bull was his nickname. And it was actually the title of his memoir titled Raging Bull.
Yeah.
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 Story. Which I
So
did not know.
Revo, the title makes sense.
So Revo, Raging Bull moves on.
Pinterest.
Kelsey, what do you have for 3?
Lawrence of Arabia.
Alex?
Darn it, guys. What is wrong with you? Goodfellas.
Ooh, gross.
I also have Goodfellas. Chance.
The movie does justify the title, but it's still Lawrence of Arabia.
I said Schindler's List.
So, Goodfellas or Lawrence of Arabia?
Lawrence of Arabia.
You guys are awful.
This is a weird strategy I'll play. Switch both because I know I'll be the deciding in that case.
Now, instead of writing down your number 2, it's write down your number 1.
It's not a movie I want to be my number 1. Wait, so this is
No, make it be the other one then.
That is going to be our number 1. So the other one will be the other one by second one by default. Right?
The other one will be 2 by default.
Yeah.
So, Chance, what is the number 1?
Despite the fact that they never really justify the title, in Alex's mind, Goodfellas.
Kirk,
Yeah.
what
I don't know.
what is your number 1?
They called us wise guys. Good fellas.
They are
Kelsey-
fellas who are good.
Kelsey,
Schindler's
what
List.
is Alex?
Schindler's List.
Which means I'm the tiebreaker, and I'm going Schindler's List.
Wow.
Where was Social Network listed?
5.
5.
5, I think.
Oh, I
Tragic.
didn't vote on it once.
Which means that brings us to the end of the list. And once I do these banners,
Yeah,
which means
right on the
our,
money.
which means our top 12 non-musicians biopics is at 12. We've got I, Tonya. At 11, we've got The Founder. At 10, we've got Wolf of Wall Street. At 9, we've got Catch Me If You Can. At 8, I've got The Aviator. At 7 is Born on the 4th of July. At 6 is Black Klansman. At 5 is The Social Network. At 4 is Raging Bull. At 3 is Lawrence of Arabia. At 2, we've got Goodfellas. And at number 1, we've got Schindler's List. All in all, it's a pretty good list. I'm sure we'll be yelled at in the comments when I do put up the poll.
Absolutely.
But Chance, where can people find you online?
All right, find me on Twitter and Instagram at ChanceWars_91. You can check out the YouTube channel. I have my buddy Russell Howell, Notorious by Chance. We review movies all current in theater. We're trying to get our podcast feed back up online. And watch the Schmodown, join the Patreon. If you're in Orlando, come out to see us beat the Founding Fathers for a third time. Good fun.
Kirk, where can people find you online?
I'm on Facebook on all the fan league and movie trivia and movie interest groups. But the main place you want to find me is on Letterboxd, Kirk Kolkowski or Kirk Kowal. I forget what my name is on there, but come criticize my opinions like everybody else does.
Kelsey, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at KelseyKins90. You can also find me having controversial opinions on Call to Action, where everyone yells at me. I also live in Orlando, so if you'll be there, say hi to me.
Right on.
Word.
And Alex, where can people find you online?
Well, first of all, I just want to say Garth, he has a solid top 10 list right there.
Yeah.
Ranging from Schindler's List, Lawrence, Donnie Brasco, some others that we haven't even talked about. The Fighter, Moneyball, awesome suggestions. Surprised that some of those didn't
That's a Moneyball
today. So awesome suggestions, Garth. So you can find me on Twitter as well as the Call to Action podcast. We are the first ladies. If I can pull it up even higher, that'd be great. Bam! First ladies coming in hot. But you can find me on the Call to Action podcast with Kelsey, but also on Twitter in the Facebook pages on Call to Action Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and our Facebook page. So check it out.
And you can find me potentially being yelled at for movies I haven't seen on Rankum every Sunday night. Next week will be a DC topic, and the options are on the Facebook page now. You can also find me hosting Formula Random every week, and this week is an Arrowverse match. You can also find me all over the place, competing in fan leagues and all that. Sadly, I won't be in Orlando, but if you're ever in New Zealand, you can find me here. But yeah, I wish I had the money to go to Orlando, and I definitely would try to make it. It's one of my goals for next year to try and make it to somewhere in America. But yeah, until next week, keep listing shit. And I'm going to finish off that comment from Garth.